Greetings everyone, welcome to Modern World Dynamics. We have quite the topic to delve into today. We're going to be exploring why some women might consider settling. Yes, you heard it right, settling. Now, this isn't about settling for the last piece of cake at a party, but rather about the notion of settling in relationships. It's a topic that's sparked quite the controversy, and we'll be taking a closer look at an interesting source article by Laurie Gottlieb that has stirred the pot quite a bit. Now, before you throw your tea at the screen or start penning an angry letter, let's remember that we're all about healthy debates and discussions here. Plus, who doesn't love a bit of controversy to keep things interesting? So, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We promise to approach this topic with an open mind, a dash of humor, and of course our usual British charm. So buckle up, folks, as we examine the concept of settling in relationships. Let's start with the traditional American dream. Picture it, a husband, a house, children. It's what many aim for. But what happens when this dream seems to be slipping through your fingers? What happens when the quest for perfection starts to overshadow the pursuit of happiness? Enter Jane. She's in her early 30s. She's successful, independent, and has a vibrant social life. But something's missing. Jane wants the whole package. A loving husband, a cozy home, and the pitter-patter of tiny feet. But despite her best efforts, Mr. Right seems to be elusive. As Jane looks around, she sees her friends settling down. Some are already planning their second child, others are hosting housewarming parties. And Jane? She's still on the hunt, but her search is not just about finding a partner. It's about completing her picture of the American dream. The clock is ticking and Jane feels the pressure. She starts to question her standards. Does she really need a man who's tall, dark, handsome, and shares her love for 18th century French literature? Or would she be just as happy with someone who's kind, loving, and dependable, even if he prefers watching football to discussing Voltaire? Jane's dilemma is not uncommon. Many women find themselves in a similar situation. They're caught between the desire for the perfect partner and the reality of the dating pool. It's a tough spot to be in. Jane finds herself at a crossroads. Does she hold out for Mr. Perfect, or does she settle for Mr. Good Enough? The dating pool. It can be a tricky place to navigate. Picture this, you're Jane, a vibrant 30-something woman with a career and a dream. Jane's dream is to have a family. That dream includes a partner, a home, and a couple of little ones running around. But Jane's been swimming in the dating pool for a while now, and things are starting to feel a bit chilly. You see, Jane's noticed that as she's gotten older, the pool isn't as crowded as it used to be. A lot of the good swimmers seem to have found their way to the other side, leaving Jane with a selection that's a bit slim. It's not that there aren't any good men left. It's just that the ones who are left seem to be more interested in swimming laps than settling down. Jane's also noticed something else. A lot of the men her age, and even some younger ones, are looking for younger women. Jane can't help but feel the pressure of this societal preference. She's aware that men are often attracted to younger women and want to be the biological father of their own children. This, in turn, limits her options in the dating pool. Now, Jane's got a great sense of humor, so she laughs it off. She jokes about starting a mature swimmers club and holds imaginary recruitment drives, but beneath the laughter there's a niggling worry. She's starting to wonder if her dream of a family is slipping away just because she's not in her 20s anymore. There's also the biological clock to consider. Jane can hear it ticking away, reminding her that if she wants to have her own biological children, time is of the essence. This makes the dating pool seem even smaller and the water even colder. With the dating pool ever changing, Jane starts to wonder if Mr. Good Enough might be her best bet. But what does that mean exactly? Are we talking about settling for less, or simply adjusting expectations? Stick around as we dive into the concept of settling in our next segment. Before we proceed, don't forget to like and subscribe to Modern World Dynamics for more insightful content like this. Now let's dive into the concept of settling. Settling, as we know, is a term often draped in negative connotations. It's seen as compromising on your dreams, desires, and most importantly, your worth. But is it always a bad decision? Not necessarily. Take the example of Jane. Jane had a checklist of qualities she wanted from her life partner. She wanted someone who was handsome, wealthy, kind, intelligent, and shared her love for adventure. But as Jane entered her 30s, she began to feel the pressure of time. She saw her friends getting married, starting families, and she felt left behind. Jane was still waiting for her Mr. Perfect. One day Jane met John. John was kind and intelligent, but he wasn't wealthy, and he didn't particularly enjoy adventurous activities. Jane had a decision to make. Should she hold out for her Mr. Perfect, or should she settle for John, her Mr. Good Enough? Jane chose John. Settling doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means understanding your priorities and making decisions based on that understanding. Jane realized that kindness and intelligence were more important to her than wealth and a love for adventure. She wanted companionship and a family, and John could provide that. Now, we're not saying that everyone should settle. What we're saying is that settling isn't always a compromise. It's about understanding your priorities and making decisions that align with them. Here's the million-dollar question though. Is settling for Mr. Good Enough at 32 a better long-term decision than hoping for Mr. Perfect at 42? There's no right answer to this. It depends on your priorities, your dreams, and what you're willing to compromise on. So, is settling for Mr. Good Enough at 32 a better long-term decision than hoping for Mr. Perfect at 42? It's a question worth pondering. As we wrap up this discussion, it's important to remember that this is a personal decision. Life, love, and relationships aren't one size fits all. Every individual has unique circumstances, desires, and dreams. And that's the beauty of it. Whether you choose to hold out for Mr. Perfect or settle for Mr. Good Enough at 32, the decision is entirely yours to make. There's no right or wrong choice here, only what feels right for you. Maybe you're someone who dreams of having your own biological children and a traditional family setup. Or perhaps you're someone who values companionship and is open to different family structures. The point is, your happiness is what matters. So don't let societal pressure or fear dictate your choices. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. And remember, the journey to finding love isn't always straightforward, but it's always worth it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? Your story could help someone else. Until next time, this is Modern World Dynamics, signing off.